showtime.
Before the big screen mainstream actors paid.
Well, so Doug, here's a question. How can you tell the difference between the real and that fake?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. I'm Josh.
I am Carlos.
You are Carlos. Good afternoon, Carlos. How's it going, brother?
Top of the day. It seems like every week this audience that we have here, they start to scream even more. What's going on?
What is going on? Hey, man, how's your day going?
I'm here.
What's going on here at DSDT on this lovely Tuesday afternoon?
DSDT, today was the first day of our next round of classes.
And when you say that, that means what?
That means that we have new students that are coming in. We have another class that graduated. So just a whole litany of things. One of the best things or the best pieces of news that I received was that our BITS program, Business Information Technology Specialists, and our mobile iOS programs have now received VA approval. So what does that mean?
What does it mean?
That means all you military veterans can now use those educational benefits in order to take that class. I'm just saying.
All right, good stuff. And they can take care of business after they go see the new Top Gun movie, which I hear is very good.
If you don't stop Top Gun?
Top Gun Maverick.
Man, if you're a good, I haven't seen it.
I hear it's good.
Yeah.
I hear it's really
good. I saw that too. I spent the weekend. I watched a number of movies. I watched Memory. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't seen that one.
And I tell you, one that actually struck me as being surprisingly good was Alice. Alice, it has Kiki Shepard and Common in it.
Okay.
And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't know if you've seen any previews for it, but it's about Kiki Shepard. She plays this slave lady that escapes from the plantation. And when she escapes, she's in 1973. Right. So
she goes into the future.
Yeah, it makes you think that, right? But no, what happened was this guy was running a plantation in the middle of a Georgia forest, and nobody was allowed to come onto it, but the slaves were never told that they could leave. Basically, they had been emancipated all these years, almost 100 years. They had been emancipated, but they were never told that they were free. So they couldn't have any outside news, no sources or anything. But it was really weird because the slave owner's wife, they had separated. And so she lived in town. And from time to time, he would go get his kid to bring back to the plantation.
I'm assuming this is non-fictional.
It's based on real life events.
Get out of here.
Alice, if you haven't watched it, you should definitely check it out. I found it surprisingly good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that, and that's why I said non-fictional, because something like that, how do you come up with a plot?
Yeah, well, sometimes life is really weird.
Where was the plot based, if you will?
But it was in some part of Georgia.
It's some part of Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay, yeah.
It was Georgia.
In the 70s. Gotcha.
Yep, 73.
Wow.
So I thought that it was good. But you know what? Also, one thing that I definitely would like to give some attention to. We had this mass shooting last week in Texas.
Yeah, Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah. And I don't think that we can have, at this point, too much discussion about it. Right? No. Now, I'm definitely not the go-to person in relations there too. All I can say is this, and I've been saying a lot of it over the last several days. It just seems to be a lot of shootings going on. And so I'm calling upon my senators, my legislators to enact a law. Now, let's call it the Carlos law. And I'm going to make it real simple for you. If you go into any environment with the intention of causing a mass shooting, law number one, you're going to get killed. period. I'm just saying, this is the Carlos law. You don't have to agree with it, but this is my law. Law number 2, provided that you get killed, then the family member or the relative or the friend is responsible for what you did. So in my mind, perhaps that will stop a lot of what we have going on. I don't think that we can necessarily legislate gun control in regards to a lot of what's been happening. You know, individuals have the right to bear arms. I was speaking earlier with the brother that'll come out in a few seconds from the green room about, gun control. I think that Pandora box is a long time out of, it's there.
No, it cannot be over discussed because you have here in Michigan, you have Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Buffalo. We cannot forget about Buffalo.
Buffalo.
And now Uvalde.
Yep.
And then today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Canada enforced major bans on weapons.
Yeah, I saw that.
All the way down to toy guns that resemble real firearms.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister of Canada pretty much called out the laws here in the United States as kind of being a lack of.
But here's the thing, and let's not forget.
Yes.
If we don't remember the past, we're bound to repeat it.
Of course.
Why do we even have the Second Amendment? Right? Our forefathers, you got to remember under which they came to the new country. Right? It was because of oppression. It was because of what was happening in the native land. And they remembered that the main reason that they couldn't stand up for their rights was because nobody had guns. Nobody had weapons. And so those who had the weapons were the ones that were creating all these taxes. They were creating all these unjustifiable laws. And so they said that was to never happen again in the United States. So that's why you have a right to bear arms. That's why you have a right not to have a militia to come and quarter your home. It's written into your very Bill of Rights. So now that we understand that, there's no way that we're going to necessarily legislate ourselves back out of those Bill of Rights. Everyone in the beginning understood that we needed to have that. There was no NRA, right? We just knew that if ever the government was to rise up again, that we would have the equality of at least having arms. And I heard someone say the other day, well, the officers didn't want to necessarily run into the school because the guns were bigger than their guns. Well, I mean, that's primarily the reason why that law was enacted. So that.
And there's a lot of reaction in Uvalde right now regarding the police response, how it took up to an hour to get inside of the school.
That's outside of you having a gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's come on now.
A separate conversation,
right?
Nevertheless,
to be brave is just, it is what it is. You have those that are, regardless of, I'm checking in for the next 8-10 hours or whatever in order to do my patrols. Regardless of the circumstances, they're going to be brave. They're going to run into the burning house. They're going to run in, where there's shootings taking place. And then there are those that are going to say, man, if that, I got to wait. Let's come up with a plan because this guy's gun is bigger than mine. And, one way or the other, at the end of the day, I totally do not agree with the mass shootings that are taking place all over this country for one reason or another. But I definitely do believe that more people should be held responsible when we have these lone wolves that take these incidents or act upon these mindsets of their own. I do.
To say something has to be done is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost become a cliche.
Mm-hmm.
Because here we go time and time again. I recall when President Joe Biden spoke after Uvalde and the notification came on my cell phone about President Biden pushing for tougher gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly I said, here we go again. We've heard this time and time again. Mm-hmm. The fact that lawmakers can't even come to an agreement on the middle ground, and the middle ground is universal background checks. That's the middle ground.
But how does that work though? I mean, just be honest, right? You hear this term, universal gun background checks.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, that's something they have to figure out.
Yeah, but here's the thing: those that are committing these heinous crimes.
Yeah.
Background checks is not going to stop that, and that's one of the biggest things that the NRA tries to get people to understand.
And I get that, but what I'm saying is, the point I'm getting at is, they can't even figure out how to make the compromise work. I mean, that's the part that's right there in the middle that they can't even agree on.
Yeah.
And then maybe tune that up as to alluding to your question, how would it work?
Yeah.
They can't even get to that point.
Yeah.
So how do you get to, okay, this weapon being banned, or you can't purchase this gun, you have to go through a mental evaluation to have this gun and maintain ownership of it, etc. That's well above universal background checks, whatever that could mean.
I don't care. And again, this is Carlos law, you guys. I keep reminding you, this is me, right? So you can take it for what it's worth. But I don't care about your universal background checks. I'm 100% on board with those that believe if you go in and you shoot up my kid's school, we busting you out, period. You're not coming out in handcuffs. We're not going to take you to the court. And if more of those individuals understood that, then perhaps it wouldn't be so many of these Columbine copycat situations.
And going to your point, Carlos, the shooter in this particular tragedy didn't have a criminal background. 18-year-old.
Universal background check wouldn't help with that.
It wouldn't have helped in this situation. So fair enough on that point. But
and then the kid shot his grandma in the face. I'm just going, come on, y'all. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, enough is enough, man. And, I remember the times when I wasn't allowed to play with guns when I was a kid. And I remember the times when I couldn't play certain video games when I was a kid. Maybe we ought to get back to some of that, and parents take responsibility for their kids before they reach 15, 16, and you want to start trying to tell them what they can and they can't do. It's time, y'all.
We can sit here and talk about this all afternoon, all evening.
And I will.
And I know you would. But nevertheless, we cannot forget about Oxford, Buffalo, Uvalde, and all of the other tragedies we've seen throughout our lifetimes regarding this topic.
Yeah. So sad.
It is sad. Let's try to lighten the mood a little bit.
All right.
Man.
Today, we are going to bring on a special guest. Remember, we've talked on over the last few weeks, we've discussed about having on our guest host. Well, today we're going to have our guest host, Mr. Bernard Gleton. Bernard is one of the IT instructors at DSDT, and we wanted to bring him in because the conversation, the topic of discussion that he wanted to bring forth, I never had really thought of it in that way. I thought that this definitely was something that I needed to talk about. If not talk about it, I just needed to hear the conversation about it so that I can get myself together. So without any more further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Bernard Gleton.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Bernard, what's going on?
Everything is everything. Everybody
Welcome.
know me as Mr. Gleton, Mr. G, or some people know me as the Chancellor. But what's up, everybody? What is going on? Welcome.
Thank you, brother. So, Bernard, introduce the people as to who you are. Let's get some more background first.
Okay.
We're going to be seeing you more here on the podcast. So let the people know, who is Bernard?
Okay, for sure. So, man, how far back do you want me to go?
Well, let's talk about the connection with DSDT.
Yeah, don't take us back to when you were a kid. I'm just saying.
It all started back in 1983. All right, so I have been in the tech field for over a dozen years now. I've done numerous things in the tech field. I've started my own IT company, and then I started my own media company. Besides the whole tech thing, I've started off doing A+, is being certified, a certified computer technician, and then I went off and started doing networking, got my networking degree, and I started working in various parts of the field. Some companies' names I'm not going to mention, but pretty much being in and around, doing a lot of everything. So that's pretty much it. And
when we say you've done things in the tech industry, let's get a little bit more specific.
Come with it.
Exactly. What have you been doing? Like the jobs and expertise, and what's your niche?
So my niche is infrastructure.
Okay.
All right. Now let me explain what infrastructure is. Right. So when we talk about infrastructure, I like to basis this off of the human body. Right. The infrastructure of your body is your spine. Right. So when it comes to the infrastructure, it's dealing with everything that's connected to the IT department. Right. So let's talk about your email. Let's talk about your phone service, having computers, having internet service, you know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. And even with applications, right? There's some ingrown or in-house applications that's created. And then there's third-party applications that's created, right? Which one is the best route for us to go as a company and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much infrastructure. And you can't go anywhere without it being a tech company, right? Like you could be selling toilet paper. It's still a tech company, one way or another. You still need a cell phone. You still need email. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tech company, in my eyes, at least.
You still need a system that keeps log of inventory, ingoing, outgoing,
everything,
sales up, down,
all of that,
inflation.
If things hit the fan, who you gonna call? Right? You know. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, so you speak about how most companies are IT companies in your eyes. Can you kind of tie us on into why we're going to be discussing fitness today?
Yes. All right.
What are we talking about?
We're discussing the role of technology in the marriage between it and fitness.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It has been a long 2 years regarding the pandemic.
Exactly. And in
have
case
not been able to get to the fitness center as frequently as they did before.
True story.
Yeah.
True story. I lost my buffness when the pandemic happened.
Hey, let's not get ourselves to. We had a Memorial Day weekend. I feel like I gained 10 pounds eating all of that barbecue and good stuff.
Even from looking at it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'll be going to the gym right after this recording. Start burning that back off. So yeah, let's talk about the technology and the fitness.
Well, let me go ahead by saying this. You've already mentioned the whole idea of COVID and how COVID kept us in a house,
yes,
in a building for 2 years, right? So I think fitness. Let's be honest here. We all picked up some type of COVID weight, right? And now it's coined as the COVID 20 or the COVID 10, right? Where that's how much weight you picked up since COVID started and all that type of stuff, right? So let's talk about it, right? Like now you see companies like Peloton and companies like them coming out, you know, where now you don't necessarily have to get out to the gym to get your workout in, right? But what if you're not just what if biking is not your thing, right? And I think I've been seeing this rise of gym members or just gym centers just coming up with creative ways to one, still make money, right? And two, to still keep people in shape and exactly what type of technology they use to even do all of it.
Well, here's a question I have. Are gyms really finding ways to keep people more engaged, or are we looking at more gimmicks?
See, that's the thing. I think and again, this is just my right. I think with the bigger gyms, it's more gimmicks, right? But now you start to see a rise in smaller gyms, really just hitting the scene, right? You could be just a one-man band and still making a killing, making just about as much as Planet Fitness or LA Fitness or any one of those type of companies, right? So it's crazy how COVID, for a lot of us, it hit us in a bad spot, right? But for the most of us, it made us turn and look at ourselves and realize, okay, here's a golden opportunity for us to really come up and do something crazy, right? And nowadays, crazy is normal, and normal is crazy, right? So they was able to flip on their heads to figure out how can we still get out here and compete with these bigger companies, with these bigger gyms, right? Yeah. One of my favorite movies was Dodgeball. Right, you got the Average Joe's gym,
yes,
and you got Ben Stiller's gym, right? And I'm seeing a lot more Average Joe's coming up and just demolishing these bigger gyms. It's crazy how they doing it.
Okay,
with the simplest stuff.
Okay, so tell us why and who is Mr. Clarence Gleton?
Okay, first, let me preface this by saying He is not on the show because he is my twin brother. Okay, I'm preferably. he knows I love him. I love him. I'm saying that
Brotherly love.
Oh, believe me, we gonna talk bad trash to each other after this. The reason why I brought him on is one, because of his experience.
Okay.
All right. Two, because not only is he my trainer, he's been on my head even when I don't want to train or do none of that stuff. Right. The type of skills that he picked up and him ask me, hey, how can I compete with some of these guys? Right. And I said, okay, well, here's some ideas. Right. Just being able to actually be in the front and center of seeing how these average Joes is actually building their platforms and growing it and all that type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's why I think he's the perfect guest to come in and talk about this, because he's doing it right now as we speak. You know, in a couple of hours, he got a class to teach online and offline. So yeah.
So okay, all right. So why don't we just go on and bring the brother on, the twin brother that is, Mr. Gleton. How are you, Mr. Clarence?
Oh, I'm well. How are you doing?
I guess
Doing
we
great.
all are.
Fantastic.
So, but here's my first question: is it Kratos or Kratos, or how do you pronounce it?
It's Kratos. It's Kratos.
Kratos, Mr. Kratos.
Yeah.
And so, what does Kratos mean? Is there a meaning, or is this?
No, it's a meaning. And let me say, I knew that was gonna come. I knew I was gonna get that question right. So, the story behind Kratos. I know a lot of people know Kratos from the game God of War, but the game God of War kind of has it right. Kratos is an actual Greek god. He's the Greek god for strength. Just like Nike is the Greek god for victory, and his sister Dia is the Greek god of jealousy, I believe, and so on and so on. So when it came time for me to come up with a name for my fitness company, I wanted to have some type of meaning behind it, just instead of just saying, hey, this is Clarence Fit. I wanted something more original, one, and two, I wanted to have a great brand story behind it, something that we can utilize in our everyday lives. So by Kratos being the Greek god of strength, we had to utilize strength in our everyday lives, be it how we talk to people or how we deal with people, and you know, how we physical applications when it comes to our jobs and things like that. So one of my favorite stories behind Kratos is that a person stole Zeus's thunder. And so Zeus looked to Kratos and his brothers and sisters, Bia and Nike, and asked them to go basically retrieve his thunder. So basically they went out, found the guy, retrieved the thunder, gave it back to Zeus, and they punished the guy who stole Zeus's thunder by chaining him to a huge boulder and forcing him to push the boulder up a mountain every day while the birds of prey pick at him. And at the end of the day, once he gets to the top of the mountain, he would die and regenerate in the morning. So that's one of my favorite stories of him. But the main reason, like I said, was because he's the Greek god for strength.
Okay, thank you for that education session. All right, because I would have never thunk it. I didn't know who Kratos was. I thought maybe he was like Superman's uncle or something. I'm just saying.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I know a lot of people know that name because of God of War, and in a sense, they got it right. But it would have been nice for them to play more on what Kratos actually was.
I don't even. What is God of War, Josh? Are we out of our league this time?
We are listening to the educator at this point. We are the students.
The God of War.
Clarence, you are the teacher at this particular moment.
Oh, hold on. Oh, wait a minute now. You are a teacher as well, right? Because your brother just said you got a session coming on here in a few hours.
Yeah. So what are you teaching, Clarence?
So I have a boot camp class that I teach out of my gym Monday through Friday at 5:30 and 6:30. And my partner, she does the boot camp class on Saturdays at 10. a.m. So that's what I do.
Man, I'm so mad at y'all right now, man. I'm mad as hell
Why
at the
are you
twos
mad,
of y'all.
Carlos? Why?
Because I know I need this in my life. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I was so willing to have this discussion, because I mean, I 100% believe that the pandemic did something to all of us. I gained a few extra pounds and I just can't seem to shed them for anything. I was talking to a lady just yesterday. She said she lost 120 pounds. I can't even lose a decimal of that. So it's great for me to be having these conversations with my brothers in order so I can figure out whether or not this is the program for me. Right. Question number one. What's going on with all these applications that I see popping up on my phone? Right? Every time I look up, there's an application telling me that if I do this for 30 days, I'm going to have abs like Kratos.
Yeah. See, I like that plug. Yeah, so I have a love-hate relationship with the apps. I love the apps because it forced us to adapt to the pandemic, right? But I have a hate relationship because I know a lot of us would just look at it and be like, yeah, I'm for it, I'm down, and then like a day or two later be like, what else? You know what I'm saying? Just like with the games that you get on your phone. You start playing it for like 10, 15 minutes, maybe a whole day even, and then after a while you're like, all right, I'm over this.
All right, so Clarence, here's a question I have regarding this particular part of the conversation.
Yes, sir.
The people who become less motivated within a few days, is it because the app isn't really living up to the hype, or those who go that route with the apps aren't really dedicated to begin with?
So I think it's a mixture, right? I think it's a mixture. One, I think a lot of people are used to being in person, and they actually need somebody to basically get in them about working out, being strict with their form, and actually being with them, guiding them towards their goals. And two, I think it's just how society is nowadays. We all have a short attention span. So I'm not saying that a lot of people can't benefit from the app, but I just think it's a few people who can. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
How do you detect those that can? Because I need to know if I'm one of the cans. I'm just saying.
So it's many ways you can do it. One of the ways that a lot of people use, that a lot of trainers use, that I know, is having people fill out applications to even join the app, or they don't. You don't have to fill out the application. You just buy the app and you do it. Cool. If not, hey, what else? It's on you. I think a lot of times, depending on the type of program that I'm trying to prescribe for a potential client, if I need them to be strict with what I need them to do to get the results that they want to get, then I have them do a application. And then me and my partner, we both go through the application to make sure if this is going to be a great fit for this person. And then on the flip side of that, I think going back to the question I was asked earlier, you do have some applications to whereas some trainers just put it out there and fire and forget, right? Whereas me, with my application, I legit get on it every week. I make it a point to get on the application every week to make sure I can keep track of how everybody is doing. I'm reaching out to those people who downloaded the app to make sure they can still get that one-on-one. Even though I may not be there in person, I'm there texting them and so on and so on.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up, Carlos. What are some of the best workout apps out there, Clarence?
I would say number one, my app.
What? Wait a minute, hold on. Is there a Kratos app?
Yeah.
Where?
It is a Kratos app. I can get you guys that information.
Most definitely.
But yeah, I do have an app. I'm constantly going back and adjusting it. I'm taking feedback from people too, and that's one of the other good things about, at least I think in my mind, about me having this app and the way I'm going about doing it is because I want to create that community, right? When you have at least in my gym, our main focus is to create that cheers like atmosphere.
Okay.
Anytime you come in, everybody know your name. Everybody is happy that you came, high fiving you, building that environment. And so when me and my team sat down and decided to come up with this app, we want to carry that over to the app space as well, or the online space, have you. And we're trying to find different ways to create that membership engagement, to whereas you don't feel like you're in this thing by yourself alone. And
So I got a question. And so, all right, okay. So how long have you guys been in operations?
So physically, I've had this gym for a year now. I think yesterday now. So I had the gym physically for a year. I had the app. The app has been live since, wow, man, the beginning of the year.
So you guys were really birthed and born during the pandemic.
Yeah. Which forced me to get creative on how to go about getting people, which forced me, because I'm not huge in Facebook. I'm not huge in social media, but I had.
Wow. So how are you getting the word out?
Facebook.
All right, right?
Right. Facebook, Instagram, word of mouth. I started out doing the outdoor sessions, and a lot of people love that, which forced me to go out and get the physical location. And through that, it just kept spreading. So, and then at the same time, as I'm birthing this idea of how I want my gym, it gave me a chance to even adjust to what it is now, thankfully.
So what's, do you have a website?
I do. It's Kratos, KRATOS FPG.fit.
Let's check this out, Carlos.
Now, while y'all bringing that up, I will say this, Josh and Carlos. Because my brother do have a military background, when he told me, I'm going to do a boot camp, in my mind, I just kept seeing a drill sergeant yelling at me and screaming at me. Right now,
so a tech drill camp?
No. When he told me that he was going to do his boot camp at the school, outdoor boot camps and stuff like that, I just had in my mind he's going to be screaming and yelling at me and all that type of stuff. And because he's my brother, I'm not going to pay attention to none of that.
Get out of here, man.
I mean, I go to support, but I'm not going to pay attention to none of that. But it's funny because I talk to my wife about this all the time. Whenever we go to his boot camps, he's not yelling, he's not raising his voice, or none of that. You know, it's incredible. And when he said he really created like this cheers atmosphere, he really created a cheers atmosphere. You know what I mean? And that is, to be honest with you,
where everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. Everybody's cheering you on. You know, it's not about looks. You know what I mean? And I do have a story. I'm not going to tell you guys online. I'll tell you guys offline. I'll tell you guys about that later.
Fair enough.
Okay, so where is this magical place located at?
Here we go. We help you lose weight
on Greenfield and Grand River.
It's on Finkel and Grand River?
Greenfield and
Grand River.
Not too far from Finkel.
All right, Clarence, I want to get more into your website here a little bit. So I like the slogan, we help you lose weight by keeping your fitness simple. How do you keep it simple? Give me some examples.
All right, so here's the thing, right? Oftentimes when people get into fitness, they say, I want to lose weight. I want to start my fitness journey. Especially with new trainers, right? What ends up happening is that the person come in and they get fire hosed all this information. Like, hey, okay, I need you to eat right. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And after a while, as the person on the other side, you kind of sit there like, man, you know what? This is way too much. You know what? I'm not into it as much, right? Our approach is not all of that. Our approach is, hey, make it in here, step by step, right? Once we get you coming in here consistently, then we can focus on getting your diet together. Once we start getting your diet together, now we can start focusing on getting your mental landscape together, right? Because everything happens little by little, right? It's a journey, and it's not a race. So everybody want to get in and I just want to hurry up and lose 15 pounds for my birthday next month. It's not going to happen that fast. But if you want it to happen that fast, here's the steps that you need to take. So instead of just shooting off all these things that people need to do all at once, we just say, hey, let's just focus on your workouts. 2-3 weeks later, hey, you've been coming in here consistently, great job. Let's focus on your water intake. All right. Now I want you to start drinking almost a gallon of water every day. Let's up your water intake. Now you do that 2, 3, 4 weeks consistently. Hey, I know you've been snacking. Okay. We all do it, but let's try and work on cutting back this week. Let's keep that going. You know what I'm saying? Not everything all at once.
You break it all up pretty much step by step.
Step by step. Step by step. Day
by
day.
Baby. You know what? New Kids on the Block, Salt and Pepper, Backstreet Boys. I think they're all like on a tour or something. A concert is coming to a LCA sometime this summer. I was
oldies but goodies.
Yeah, oldies but goodies. I was ironically online today just looking up concerts for the summer, and I came across that.
And let me guess, they were going to have you doing the background vocals, right? I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking these questions, right?
No. I'm only a spectator.
Well, if they're gonna have you in the background, you know, I think they should have my brother and I doing the dance. You know what I mean?
Ooh. Man, we get him to play so fast.
Yeah, we can do the kid to play.
Are we trying to run folks out of the Low Season Arena? Trying to run them out of there? Oh man!
Listen, so I think right now we want to take a moment to pay some bills, right? Because we definitely want to bring you guys back and have some more conversation. Because as I understand it, that not only is Mr. Kratos one heck of a fitness expert, but he's also one of the city's finest.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
And with his background,
I am good looking.
Good
looking twin over here.
Play on words. I'm just saying, play on words. Play on words. Right? So we want to pay some bills, and we're going to come back and further this discussion with the Gleton brothers, the twins that we have in our very own midst. All right, right after these.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Josh.
I'm Carlos, better known as Crypto Los.
This is the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT.
I just made up Crypto Los in case you didn't.
And that's exactly what this is. It's a great season. Season 4, we're back in the building, side by side.
If you haven't checked out the podcast, make sure that you go to it wherever you get your podcast from.
But in the meantime, see ya!
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
All right, Clarence, let's get right back into it. I want to ask you a question. During the pandemic, a lot of fitness centers, most if not all fitness centers, were closed at some period of time. With that being said, we relied on home workouts, home fitness videos, and things of that nature. I found something on YouTube myself.
Yeah.
How efficient are those workouts compared to going to a fitness center?
Man, you hitting on some questions today. Nah, because it's something that I battle with myself every day, and it comes down to putting out good content and just doing those videos, right? But so here it is, okay? I know for me, I like to make sure that person can understand what the goal is when they do certain movements, right? So, for instance, say you working out your back, say you in the gym, or you got a house gym, right? And you're trying to do some back workouts, right? Back being one of the biggest muscles that you have in your body, it's hard to feel, right? If you don't know what you're looking for. So typically what people do, what I like to call the lawnmowers, you see people get down and do the rows, and all you see is them just going to town. Here's the question. You see them do it, but can you actually feel what you're doing? 9 times out of 10, people gonna say no. But when you follow some apps, some videos, they gonna say, yeah, make sure you do, say 8 reps, 8 to 12 reps of rows with the dumbbells. All you're doing is pulling up, right? But they don't go into detail as into what you should be feeling, one, or some technical cues on how to perform that particular movement, right? So, at least with me, what I try to focus on is when I explain things, especially through video, I try to pretend. I remember when I first started, I was one of the guys that was doing the lawnmowers, you know what I'm saying? So when I explain it now, I have to think, okay, how can I get this message across so it's beneficial to that person who may not fully understand how to perform this movement and feel it. So typically, some things I'll say is, one, slow down, take your time, don't just go for reps, go slow, pull back. 2, instead of one thing I see a lot of people do it, and it's no fault of their own. It's just you don't know. But instead of just pulling your elbow back, how about we focus on bringing our elbow more to our hip as we come up and squeezing our shoulder blades together. That way, you feel a lot more. And you do it enough times, especially going slow. You want to tend to pick up on, oh, okay, I feel that particular move when I do it like that. And now that we armed you with that, now you can go forward in all of your back movements. Because now you realize, okay, I'm supposed to be feeling something as I'm doing this. And I'm not just doing it, just be doing it. Trying to look like everybody else, moving heavyweight, looking sloppy. Now I'm just going for the feeling. And I think that's the biggest thing that I try to get across to everybody through videos, through the phone, through text. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to different
clubs. There's a good saying: if you can pull it, you can push it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
With that being said, brother, I want to address this question right here. Carlos, that is a real saying. That is a real saying. I'm just letting you know. All right. So hey, let's address this question, my man. with the fitness industry being so saturated, how do you retain your clients, especially online?
That's a great question. First off, and thanks for asking that question, right? Like I said, for me, my goal is to build that community, right? Once again, going back to when I first started working out seriously, like I didn't know what I was doing, man. I was looking at the big guys like, I'm trying to get to where you at, right? But at the same time, I didn't have a lot of people that pulled me to the side. I was like, hey, my man, this is how you do this. You want to try to focus on that. But after a while, the better I got, the more knowledge I got, the more I saw the bigger guys like, oh, okay, I see he's serious about it. Let me go over there and talk to him. And then I start to pick up different tips and tricks from them guys. So with that in mind, whenever I do have online clients, I try to keep that community system still going. One, by reaching out to them. Two, by making them feel comfortable, by asking questions in the group, putting up your progress pics in the group. And I have other clientele in the same group. I have other trainers in the group that I work with, and we all celebrate each other on our our greatest lifts, our wins and our losses. You know what I'm saying? Because how can you win without losing, right? Especially when it comes to working out. Every day ain't gonna be a good day. You're not gonna have a great workout every single day. And I know I really don't have a great workout every single day. But the main thing is, hey, I got in here. It wasn't a great workout, but I got it in. You know what I'm saying? And then reversing it, how can I recreate that great workout I had yesterday, the day before? You know what I'm saying? Where did I go wrong? And how can I replicate that so I don't have too many of these bad workouts?
Okay. Here's the question. So sometimes I have been guilty of going to the gym. Just saying, I have been, right? Early in the morning. And when I say early, I'm talking like 5:30.
Right.
The wife and I get up and go, and she goes more than I, Planet Fitness. So the problem that Carlos has with this whole arrangement is that I have to get up, drive to the gym. The drive to the gym is 30-40 minutes from one location. That's one way.
Yeah.
So I've already spent an hour and a half, if we're counting both ways, back and forth to the gym. Right. Now I'm a calisthenics type of guy. Right. I like pull-ups, dips, body squats. I'm just telling you what I am. I'm just saying. So I have experienced workouts in virtual reality, and I was astonished at how well the burn was after doing that type of workout.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm intrigued in the whole I have clients online persona. Right, because what I'm hearing you say to Carlos, because I can't speak for Josh, right? But what you're saying to me is that you can potentially cut out at least an hour and a half of drive time for personally me. Is that what you're saying? I'm just asking.
I know. And here's the thing, though, right? Because like my brother said earlier, I know everybody is not going to be motivated by, say, people yelling and screaming at them, right? I can't say I'm not that type. I personally enjoy that, right? But I know everybody ain't turned on by that. So I had to appeal to the greater audience, right? I'm not in the military no more. I don't have to yell and scream at you before you work out when you're working out with me in person. Instead of me yelling and screaming at you now, my goal is to motivate you to push past your perceived limitations, right? So speaking to those people who may like to work out or have that personal touch, yes, that's fine. But at the same time, you have to know what motivates you, right? When I first started, I was working out at home, at the crib. You know, when I had the bachelor pad, right? I had the dining room table. The dining room table was pushed to the side. Weights took over. You know what I'm saying? But I had to stay motivated, so I had to find ways to motivate myself. And I know there's others out there that's motivated like that. Yeah, I know it's not everybody, But I know people out there in the online space that is self-motivated to go out there and get the workout in. And all they need is just the plan. If I get the plan, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And for those types, that's where I come in to say, okay, here's a plan. We gonna check in, say every Friday. You know, let it be text or email or through the messaging app that my app uses. You know what I'm saying? I'm checking in on you to see how you feeling, what went well for the week, what didn't go good for the week, how can we make that better, and where you at mentally, right? Because there's more to it than just picking stuff up and putting it down. It's a mental release.
What does keeping track of your daily and weekly workouts, what does it do as far as fitness and motivation?
So, good question. So here's the thing, right? It's just like shooting a gun, right? You can't shoot your gun with your eyes closed, hoping, praying, and wishing like, oh, I'm gonna hit that target. You can't, right? So in the military, we say a lot of times front sight focused, right? You're focusing on the front sight. When you're writing things down, you're keeping track of what you're doing, how you feeling as you're going through your workouts. So say you had a bad week. For whatever reason, you had a whole week of horrible workouts. Now you start to look, you start to feel down on yourself like, man, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that. It happens. It happens to me. But now you can go back to your notebook and you can look at where you were versus where you at now. And once again, like I said earlier, you can go back and dissect what went wrong that week. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I didn't get enough carbs for my huge lifts. You know what I'm saying? Such as legs, backs, and I like shoulders, even chest. You know what I'm saying? What went wrong that week and what can I fix? So it gives you something that you can always look back on to make small, minute changes in your daily routine. Going to the gym, outside the gym. You may be going through something. Your mind may not all be there when you walk in through those doors to work out. It is what it is, right? It's life. It happens. But if you can nip it in the bud or realize it and then start coming up with different ways to nip it in the bud, the goal is to keep pressing forward to have more great workouts versus bad workouts.
Hey, with you saying that, it makes me think about the mental aspect, right? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they work out, they don't necessarily have the mentals all together. And they may have the mentals together for one day, but maybe not for the rest of the week, right?
Yeah.
So how do people out here how do you try to get people to stay together in a mental aspect when it comes to working out?
It's a few ways. One, it's a combination of ways, I should say, right? Because one way is not going to work well for everybody, right? It's a combination. You got to have a combination of things, right? So typically, especially for my online clients, what I do every week, I have some type of motivation for them. You know what I'm saying? Some type of motivational video that I know they can vibe with. I have other days I have what do you call that? Affirmations, where you can sit there and you go through what you're looking for, what you're trying to get out of this journey or this part of the journey. And I call and I see how they doing, what's going on with you. Like, cause once again, it's personal training. The goal is to keep it personal. When you have trainers out there that's just like, here you go, and that's it. Like, how can I get guidance from you if you're just selling me just a plan? Whereas me, I want to do more than just sell a plan. I want to sell a plan. I want to keep it personal. I want to get to know you because I actually care about whether or not you achieve your goal, right? We're in this thing together. It's a fitness journey.
All right. Well, Mr. Gleton #1. In case you guys don't know, that's the oldest twin, right?
That's the one that's in the studio.
That's the one in studio. So why don't you take us into the fitness news for this week?
Yes. So I found this headline, right, which kind of blew my mind. First of all, I hate running. I really hate running. The only time I ran was when I had to, and I don't mind that, but I hate running. So when I came across this headline, it was like, this is all the more reason for me not to run. Right? So
what is it about running that you hate so much?
I don't like being out of breath. That's just it.
Okay, fair enough.
Like after I'm done running, I don't want to put it out there. Like I don't want to die. I just don't want to do nothing. I just want to lay there. Don't touch me. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying?
It drains you.
It drains me a whole lot, right? Now, granted, I'm speaking this as a all-state track and field and all that type of stuff, but I still hated running. I hated running. I ran so fast. I ran fast enough for me to stop, right? And
run, Forrest, run!
That's it. That's it right there. And oftentimes I won. Okay, cool, right? But in this ad, right, in this news clip, I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, this Brooklyn half marathon runner dies after collapsing at the finish line amid brutal weather conditions.
Oh, that's terrible.
Now, some of you guys may have known this, some of you guys may not, but I did a short stint in the CFL, right? And in the midst of me getting prepared to try out and everything, it was 90 degrees outside, 90, 95. And my brother remembers this. I was running from like 6 Mile to Lodge and Finkel.
Oh, man.
And sweat, like a hoodie, sweatpants, and a skull cap, right? And people was beeping their horns. And I'm thinking like, oh, they just root me on, right? And of course, hindsight is 20/20. Now I realize that was probably the stupidest thing I ever did in my life. There's no wonder I didn't get heat stroke, right?
That was adventurous.
Yeah. I live life a little dangerously, apparently, you know. But with me seeing that, I was like, yep, this is all the more reason for me not to run. This is it. So I want to know, what do you guys think about this? I don't really care about my brother's point of view.
Wow.
I want to know what you guys think about this.
Think about as far as what part?
Do you feel like, I don't know if you guys are runners, but hearing this as a runner
recently, but I used to be a runner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hearing this, how do you feel after hearing this?
Well, for me, the running started to bear on my ankles quite a bit. It's like, all right, I got to find something else to stay fit because, yeah, I've ran marathons, I ran track and field in high school and whatnot. But, as we get older, our bodies can't take hitting that pavement the way it used to. So it takes a toll.
Yeah.
Running does take a toll on your body. Yeah, you're lean, you're mean, but it's not a long-term method of fitness.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Okay. What say you over there, Carlos?
I am or was an avid runner, but the marathon thing, let's not say that. I'm not going to go that far. Most I ever
26.2 miles.
No, hell, man, bye. No. no. Listen, the most I ever ran was about 10 miles. Right. Okay. So what comes to mind when I see this is that, my wife, she's an avid runner. And when she was done with chemotherapy a few years ago, shortly thereafter, she ran a marathon. And it amazed me. It actually not only amazed me, but it inspired me to run the turkey trot afterwards. She ran the Detroit News marathon, half marathon, and then I did the turkey trot. And it's just the marathon aspect of it. I can't condense a lot of running, man. No.
And one time only.
Right.
Just to say you did it, right?
Just to say I did it.
Right. You did
and I get that. I get that.
But never again.
I ran 10 miles when I turned 40. Right. That was my 40th, birthday thing for myself. I wanted to be able to run 10 miles. And I say that with pride because by the time I was done training for it, I looked like a grasshopper. You know how a grasshopper look on the chest, an 8-pack. I mean, that was almost 10 years ago, which is why I find this conversation so wonderful. If only I could get back to my grasshopper days. I'm just saying.
Now, I will say this. I used to play basketball. Okay. I still play basketball. I haven't done so in a long time, but now as of recently, I started taking up golf. And I've been playing golf for about 10 years now, right? And the reason why I play golf is, one, I don't have to do any running. I don't have to do any running. And it's a lot easier on my knees. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that, it's like, I made the best choice ever. So with that being said, let's bring it around to the so-called expert.
The
so-called expert, my brother. What you got to say about this?
Hey, so you know what we call this in the military? Is the fun run, but it's nothing fun about it. That's what we call it in the military. And what's even more, right? It's always the old generals, the 60 and 60 on up age range. They be like, yeah, we're gonna do a fun run, and like everybody's like, come on, man, this ain't fun. This is good for you, but it ain't for me. And the same old guys, right? Like, all right, I'm younger than you. I should be able to beat you. Them same old guys be smoking a lot of young guys. And every time I be looking at them like, man, if you wasn't my superior, man, I'd be flipping you off right now.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand you. But I listen, we did a lot of running in my day. Well, I tell you, yeah, a lot of fun runs. Not my forte. I am not a runner anymore, because just like you said earlier, as you get older, man, it sucks for your body. That constant impact on your knees, and a lot of people suffer from shin splints too. And then it's so much. It's so much that goes into running, right? And I know this is getting a tad bit more technical, but the difference between a sprinter and a mid-distance runner and a long-distance runner is how they impact the ground, right? A sprinter, A, on your toes, boom, right? A to B. But for a mid-distance runner, not so much. But for a distance runner, you can't run on your toes throughout the whole race. So now you got to figure out what's the proper way for me to heel strike the ground so that my knees don't hurt. And a lot of us don't have that training. One. Two, a lot of us don't have the proper shoes to go, say, the distance, honestly. And it's so much, but I have a lot of respect for them guys. I know for me, that is not my forte at all.
Running?
Yeah. It's for the young folks for sure.
I
want to close with this question right here. This is a very good question. How do you ensure safety to your community online? Do you talk about what safety measures should be in place when performing certain exercises?
Okay, so how I go about doing that is figuring out the type of where they at physically, right? For a person. For instance, I'm using my brother as an example, right? I know that he had a torn ACL, so some things that he may suffer with, I need to be aware of what he's doing. One, as I'm writing these programs out for him, and two, I always harp on not doing too much, right? Starting you off slow. Hey, go super light. I know you're going to feel like a punk. I know you're going to feel like you can do more, and that's fine and dandy. But the name of the game is not how much weight can you move. It's how much weight can you move safely and effectively to get the results that you want. Because we want you to stay in the gym, not hurt yourself and stay out the gym. That way, no goals is getting accomplished, right? So typically, I start people off, especially to really learn their body, how their body feel as they're working out, because a lot of people don't know that. I start them off with doing lightweight, a lot of reps, right? Sometimes I even have them do videos so I can watch them and pay attention to their form, and I can adjust from there, really. But my main thing is keep you in the gym so that you can continue to hit your goals, hit your marks, and not out the gym after you hurt yourself. That's the last thing I want.
All right, right on. And final question. This brother wants to know the name of your business again. So lay out the information. Where can people find you before we let you go?
All right. So the website is Kratos, F as in Frank, P as in Paul, G as in George, .fit. Okay. Right now we are doing a special 5 days for $20. You can't beat that for baseball bet. All right. It's a boot camp style gym, as you'll find as soon as you walk in. We don't have a lot of say traditional equipment, not at my gym. It's body weight. We have ropes, we have kettlebells, we have bands, which isn't a joke. You can ask my ladies about that. I'm telling you.
But ask some fellas about it too.
Hey, sure enough, man. They walk in, they be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do these bands." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right. Yep, you got it." I'm like, "Oh man, this is wait, hold on now. This is a lot harder than I expected." I'm like, ha ha ha. And we also have a tire where we can throw around, beat, flip, all that good stuff. And also do out my gym, I also do performance training. That's one of my favorite styles of training, getting people ready to perform, because I feel like a lot of them go even harder than people that's trying to lose weight. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Kratos FPG on Instagram or Kratos Fitness and Performance Group on Facebook.
Mr. Kratos, I do understand that you're one of Detroit's finest.
They always get nervous whenever I hear that.
Right. Why? Why? You did something wrong?
It might be a black thing. I don't know. It might be a black thing.
Listen, we just want to say thank you for your service, sir.
Oh no,
I know that you go up and beyond in order to, do. I presume that this is a passion for you, because I can just hear you. You can talk for hours about it. But outside of your day and regular job, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we thank you for coming on. We thank your brother for introducing us, because I guarantee I like the special. Anything that says $20 for 5 days, sign me up.
Hey,
hey, Carlos, just so you know, if you don't be surprised if you see my brother come in for me one of these days teaching my classes. I might be off doing something else.
And how you gonna do that when I know now y'all got different haircuts?
What if I was to cut my hair? You would never know.
You're kind of told on yourself just now.
Yeah, he still got to prove it though.
Right. I'm starting to wonder who the big brother is. I'm just saying. Hey, listen, we want to thank you guys for coming out today and blessing us. This is definitely a conversation that we all too need to have more conversations about, more dialogue about. Health concerns, especially in our community, is something that we don't talk enough about.
Yeah.
I've shared time and time again this last year and a half, I've started to deal with gout myself, and I'm learning that as I'm getting older, there's certain things that I can't do now at this age that I used to do. So coming, to understand this new attribute of my body, what does that mean? Is it okay for me to run as much as I want to? Is it okay for me not to necessarily want? What are the things that I can do in order to stay in tip-top shape and get the benefits of this body at the same time?
Yeah.
So
can I speak on that real quick?
Absolutely, you can.
Simple for you, right? Real simple. You don't have to go overboard. Honestly, the simplest thing you can do. Once again, that's the name of the game, right? Keep it simple. The simplest thing you can do is just get out and move. I don't care if that means you going out for a walk, taking dog for a walk. That gives you a chance to spend time with your loved ones. Just going for a walk. Hey, that's start. I have my brother's wife doing a experiment for me. All she's doing every morning as soon as she wake up, 30 jumping jacks. That's something simple. As long as you move, that's the main thing. And eventually everything else is gonna come around for you.
I love that.
That's good stuff.
I love that. I love it. Thank you, brothers. Definitely great conversation. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back again as one of our experts, right?
Yes.
Hey,
Mr. Clarence?
say the word. I'm there.
Most definitely. Well, the invitation has been given, and we expect to see you back in the near future, sir. Thank you again.
I appreciate it.
Good conversation right there, brother. Good conversation. And the key of the conversation is, of course, addressing fitness in the community, but also knowing that technology is a resource to help keep us fit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he couldn't have said it any better than the fact that he's began to do online training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, that is something I'm almost like my ears pucker up, you know, because I mean, I just don't have enough time nowadays to do. True story. I went to the chiropractor last week. I'm telling y'all, I go a lot of places, this body of mine, right? So I go to the chiropractor and I'm telling them, I don't have time to show up to these appointments anymore. You know, can you come to the job? Or, I mean, I'm inundated with so many other things going on. It's
the world we live in.
It is. It is. And if there's a way for the technology to make it easier for me, is there a way for me to stay connected and get the benefits of the health benefits thereof? Then sign me up. I'm all for it.
All right. Sign up a lot of folks on that note.
Absolutely. Keep them sign them up live.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, did we get our own personal link so we can start sending traffic?
Well, hey, good episode, my son. Good episode.
Yes.
All right, that will do it for the Tech School podcast powered by DSDT. Say your name.
This is Crypto Los.
Crypto Los. He doesn't like for me to say his name anymore, so for Carlos.
That's right, for Carlos.
I'm Josh. See ya.